Okay, this is the Jefferson Show, and we are actually glad today to have both of you in studio. You know, you are looking good, gentlemen. Yeah, so how are you doing? You're right. You're right. I'm fine. Okay, so these gentlemen are lawyer students at the Kikadi Independent University, and this is Laiva Kadia Fofana, and this is Jesse. So, gentlemen, how is the country with you? It's nice. We have taken quite a long time to get used to. Okay. To know a little bit about the language, the language actually. So far, I've not. I maybe know about 10 words in Kinyarwanda. It's quite difficult. It's like, yeah, sure. I try to. Yeah, it's good, and we're trying to hang around everything. Basically, we're trying to know the basic of the language here. Yeah, the language. And for me, I've already know the basic and trying to get my way in the culture and the environment of the people. But it's quite good, and we're okay. Here. That's nice. So how is it like being a foreign student within another country reading law? So, what are some things you think? It's quite it's not obvious you apprehend at the beginning because the law is universal and there's especially some principle that is universal. But when it comes to some reality, some cultural reality, and even some societal reality, it's quite different. So sometimes, yeah, it's universal because you're learning principle of law that you find here in Rwanda, you find in Gabon too. Yes, it's when it comes to some certain crime and penalty, which is considered when it comes to some certain crime, it's quite different from my country. Or it takes time. Okay, I guess you came from Liberia, so yeah. How are you finding it here? Basically, we're here, and the law, like as you said, the law is quite good. But if you compare, at times, it's also good. Like if you compare the legal system from Rwanda and Liberia, Liberia basically we focus on the common law, and for Rwanda they focus basically on both the common and civil law. Mm-hmm. So there are some things that based on the crime, there are some things that is prohibited here that's not prohibited in Liberia, and there are some things that is prohibited in Liberia that's not prohibited here. But we are all learning the same principles and everything, so we finding our way, and it's not really bad. It's very good, and we look ahead to see another thing. I'm optimistic for that. Okay, that's good. All time people talks about criminal law. The entire world is full of criminal attitude. So, criminal law is one of the biggest branches of law. So especially criminal law, it deals with criminals. So, as a law student, what really do you know about crime? Because crime occurs every day in our day-to-day life. So, yeah. What can you say about crime? So, basically, criminal law basically deals with crimes, the offenses, and the penalties. So, if we talk about crime for a layman knowledge, is there something that is prohibited by law, something that they tell you not to do? And if you look at it in another way as well, it's also neither an act or action or on omission. So it's like something that's prohibited by law. Like you see, in our society, there are a lot of crimes that have been going on, and everyone, one way or the other, have faced crime. Like, okay, yeah. So if you look at the types of crime, like they have the how do you call this burglary, wherein someone entered into a school with the intention to steal. Yeah. It's not theft, but it's a burglary. And then they also have murder, and then they also have arson, where you set in a house on fire. So all these things are something that is basically prohibited by law, okay. Something that affects society. Yeah, so that's okay. So Jesse, laws can be constituted in so many ways. Because every law in every country looks different. Mm-hmm. Some country deals with common law, while the other country deals with civil law. So, of course. How do you think law, let's say a crime can be constituted as a law student? I think crime, either in the civil or the common law, are mainly constituted by those three elements that we all know about: the material, the moral, and the legal element.
Yeah.
I think one of the most important part within those three, among those three, is the legal elements, because there's been these debates has been going on about the legal part of a crime.
Okay.
Because one of the principal laws says that no one is supposed to ignore the law, not to know about the law.
Yeah, not.
But there's some circumstances where it goes to villages, rural part, where people don't even know about the law. So it's always coming back to that. Yeah, but he's committed a crime. But did he know about it? And people are always arguing, yeah, no, but he's not supposed to ignore the law. But how is he supposed to know if he's not thought about it? So it's ongoing debates about the moral elements of a crime that have been divided, even the student community on the campus.
Yeah.
And yeah, I found it quite interesting. But we having discussion about it and.
Yeah, so generally there are three, right?
Yeah.
The moral, legal, and the material element. So the material element has to do with maybe the weapon that person's used to commit the crime. Okay, that's good. And on another topic where people talk about indictment and conviction, those are two different words. Yeah. So in the legal field, how can you really look at that?
So basically, if we look at the indictment in a conviction, they are all part of the criminal procedures. Mm-hmm. But if you look at indictment is where a person is where the person is then charged for crime. But that doesn't mean that that person is guilty. That person is innocent by law until proven guilty. So that person is then charged for crime, meaning you have been indicted. But the police cannot indict you except they indicted by the court. Like you have been charged for murder, you have been charged for. And if we look at the conviction, a conviction is where a person has been proven guilty or found guilty, either by the verdict of the judge or by the court.
Yeah, there's one problem. If you're done, please allow me to jump in.
Yeah, sure.
The consequence to the indictment, and the conviction is relatively similar, and that's unfortunate because when you indict someone of a crime, let's say we are in a small community, and news are going very fast. Everyone knows about everything.
Okay.
Someone has been indicted for rape, for example, and usually those information are not kept in the box or only among police officers. No, this information is going through all the community. So even though you haven't been convicted for that crime, but the community already know that you've been indicted for that crime. So whether either at the end of the day you're not convicted for rape, all the people have already in their mind they already think that this man is certainly a rapist. So that's I think we should change the way we see indictment. We should maybe think about not publicizing, not publishing it, because it's real dangerous for the reputation of certain people.
Yeah, so let me just interject something. So for in my own knowledge, what I understand about this thing is that like if you have been charged, you've been charged by the court that this person have been indicted for murder. And that doesn't mean that you are convicted or you are guilty. So people might perceive it differently, but people who understand the law, if you look at the principles, one, we believe that before a person is innocent, until proven guilty, right? So a person has been one is presumed innocent until he or she is proven guilty. So that doesn't mean that that person is guilty by law. It's also in a way of another person. Yeah, I'm coming.
I mean, the average people don't know that people's innocent until being guilty. So when you indict someone for a rape or a murder in a small community, everyone starts thinking that you are the one who committed it.
Yeah.
But until the trial is done,
on something,
that person is being convicted.
When it comes to being guilty for a crime, the law is funny at times because it's about evidence. Even I can commit a crime.
Yeah.
But if my opponent don't have that evidence to prove that I commit that crime, I'm free of the crime. So law is just so funny.
Yeah. So the way how people think about it now, that doesn't matter. Even though it can also but once you are innocent, and after the trial, and then you have been set free, you have been acquitted of this crime, then the people will also understand that that notion that we perceive, that we think that this person is a rapist, but it was wrong. We were wrong. But until that person has been proven innocent by the court, now they will understand that they were wrong by perceiving such notion from that person. So that's just what
you're coming to that conclusion because you're a law student. Sure, I'm talking about the average people. If you've been indicted or indicted for rape or murder, if you have been a suspicious behavior in a community, you weren't quite clear. People start thinking, it's certainly the one who commits it. So even though after you've been found innocent, actually not guilty, people will still keep in their mind that you're the one who convicted it. Or thanks to all the strategy that your lawyer maybe used.
So let me give a scenario. You see, I came from a community in Liberia, in Monrovia, Amagashi, where you got some district number 2. And in Kingsville, where there was a man who was indicted for murder, but he didn't actually commit those crimes. But he was indicted, and people in the community, everyone say this guy killed someone, even though it's not the what he did actually, but it's already is the news already. But once after the trial of that man, he was set free. He was acquitted of those charges. He came back, and then there was a meeting court. After people saw him, they said, "I always thought this guy should be in prison." He said, "No, he didn't commit the crime." So people started thinking, believing that they thought wrongfully about him because they don't understand the law. So if that person is being free of those charges, then they will start to understand that. But even if this person is being indicted, that doesn't mean that he's guilty.
Yeah, but in many African countries, people do not trust the legal system. It's very easy.
Because most time people say that let's say justice for people who have money. So I don't know, that sounds funny because, and I believe it at times because in Africa we have problem with that because if you don't have money, there is no let's say justice for you. Let's be honest, because people commit a crime and they have to, let's say, bribe the system so that they can be free from that crime because if you don't have the money, nothing you can do about it. So I think that's why people don't really trust the legal system.
So can I share a point on that? Yeah, I think it's basically, if you look at the constitution, I think there's a little problem in most African countries.
Which constitution?
Where the president is allowed to appoint the chief justice, however they call it, or the head of the court. And you see, if the president appoints someone, from my understanding, definitely he or she will work under the will and pleasure of the president. So sometimes you might have issue with the government, or you might have issue with someone in the government, but the law will not be on your side. The law will be on that person's side, maybe because they are from the same party, or the president support that person, and that person doesn't want to lose their job. So they will have to work under the will and pleasure of the president in order to protect their jobs. So that's how sometimes you see that justice is not really serving the poor. It's only served. So if we remove that part from giving the president the power or the authority to appoint chief justice, you will see that the judicial system will work under the will of every citizen of that country. Everyone.
Okay.
Justice will be served.
Okay, so there are two things act by, let's say, omission and commission. That confuses many people. Yeah. What is the difference between omission and commission under the law?
So I think I'll just stress on it. If you look at the commission, let me start with commission. A commission is It's where, in a simple way, where the Lord tells you not to do, then you do it.
Not to do.
The Lord tells you that do not kill.
Yes, don't kill.
The Lord tells you do not steal. You steal. The Lord tells you if you steal, it's a crime. You'll be punished. If you do it, you'll be punished. That's why they say the commission of the crime, committing the crime, something where the Lord tells you not to do, and then you do it. That's commission. If you look at omission, it's where the Lord tells you not to do. The Lord tells you to do, and then you not do it. For example, paying tax. The Lord tells you to pay tax, and then you say no. And then you allow the time to pass after 1 year.
Yes.
The Lord, you will be whole for that, and that's not fair. So that's a omission. And then, for example, the Lord tells you do not drink and drive. You drink and drive.
Okay, so
that's an omission.
I have a point right there. Mm-hmm. Okay, in the situation where you see someone want to commit a suicide, and you don't help in that process to stop that person from committing a suicide. So how do you classify that? Is that omission or commission?
No, for me, I believe like it's not you, so you're not committing anything. Like
a person want to carry on a suicide and you are there as an eyewitness witness. You don't do anything about it. So are you not let's say, can you not face any problem with that?
The person, I think they can face a problem by not helping that person, but I don't think that person commits any crime, like by saying commits a crime.
No, I don't think it's ever in the case of omission.
It's not omission.
When a person is carrying suicide and you do not stop the person, but you don't encourage the person to commit suicide either. So you're not really.
Also, there are a lot of ways to.
Okay, so is that not existing the person? Like
no, like once you don't help the person, or once you letting inside the person to carry on the suicide, it's not a problem. And if you don't want to help that person, I don't think it's a problem. But I think you might be responsible for not helping the person to commit, for not helping the person by who wants to commit a suicide by removing on there. But I don't think that you might be held fully responsible for the act of that person.
Okay, so you talk about incitement.
Mm-hmm.
So when it comes to incitement, the point where we say that can incitement be an mitigating circumstances or aggregated circumstances within the let's say jurisdiction?
To incite crime.
Yeah, I think it will be
if you incite me to do something.
Yeah.
So when I go to court, in terms, let's say in time of punishment, would that be aggregative or would that be mitigated?
Can I think it should be aggregative. So if you have a good lawyer, and then basically now it's about the lawyer. If you have a good lawyer who can defend such things, I believe if that law is strong, because incitement is like you don't have anything to do with the crime, or you help the person by giving materials and other stuff for the crime.
So no, actually, if you have the person give material for the crime,
the co-offender is the person who helped almost second man to the offender.
Yeah,
but the incitement is where
when you incite people to commit crime through speech or writing,
you giving materials to them to go and do it.
Yeah, I think if you give material, you're a co-offender.
No, a co-offender is like who scored the person carried it out of the person.
Right, I wouldn't commit the crime and then you give me a gun.
Yeah,
you just incite me.
Just maybe talk. Okay, so basically by speech, by sadness, and every other thing like that. So if the person there's a way it can also be mitigated. And also can be aggravated.
Okay.
And also be because based on the crime where the offender commits, it can also help for your crime to be mitigated, or also help for your crime to be aggravated. It's on the offender.
Okay, so we are really thankful to have you today. But before leaving, what advice do you have for other students who want to come and do law, or people who are planning to be a lawyer within the future? What advice do you have for them?
To study law where in Rwanda?
I'm saying not particularly in Rwanda, across.
I think you should be passionate about the legal system and justice system. Perhaps you have a strong sense of justice. Now, not necessarily defending the poor, because every time we talk about justice, defending the poor, depending on his rights at the best at the best level of your possibility. And yeah, but if you do like it, not just following your friend or your what your parents tells you to do. If you do like it, you should engage into it.